Hello, friends, and welcome to Kate's Cozy Corner. For this evening's stories, we are once again going to be visiting Reddit's AITA page. Since we're feeling in the holiday mood, let's go ahead and choose some holiday-themed stories. Now pull up a chair, grab a cup of your favorite beverage, and let's go ahead and dive into tonight's AITA stories. AITA for refusing to adhere to my sister-in-law's Christmas gift list. For Christmas, my 30F husband, 30M, and I are hosting my parents, my brother Chris, 34M, his wife Amy, 33F, their two sons, 6 and 4, my sister Lucia, 27M, and her boyfriend Alex, 30M. The background to all this is that Amy complains about every gift she's given by any of us. Every Christmas, she makes faces and snide remarks about the things that she's gifted. For example, last year, me and my husband, gifted Amy and Chris a joint present of an expensive coffee maker, which is the same one we have at home that Chris loved when they visited. Amy's only remark, not even a thank you, was, "Oh well, this isn't really for me, is it?" And then to make a great show of being annoyed that she didn't get a separate gift. A few days ago, Amy included the whole family on a group email with a Christmas list for her and the kids, saying that she would only accept gifts from this list. On her list was expensive perfumes, links to expensive clothing items, and designer handbags. I was livid. My parents were offended as well, but didn't want to say anything to Amy. But I wasn't going to hold back in the face of what I felt was grossly entitled behavior. I replied to Amy's email saying I wouldn't be purchasing anything on that list, and that if she wanted to shop for a Louis Vuitton wallet, I was happy to put her in touch with my saleswoman. I also said that if she didn't like what she received for Christmas, she was welcome to just leave it at my house. Chris blew up at me, saying Amy was just trying to make everything easier for everyone by giving suggestions. I disagree, and I told him I think Amy was just trying to find a sneaky way to get a few things she normally can't afford for free, which in my opinion is not in the spirit of Christmas, and I think she's being extremely childish. My parents think I shouldn't have said anything, but Lucia says I absolutely should have, because she wasn't going to be spending hundreds on Amy's Christmas list either. Was I the a-hole for not going along with it? Edit number 1. For everyone asking, yes, Amy drinks coffee and uses the coffee machine. No, she and Chris do not gift anyone anything of the value of the items on her list. Chris does the Christmas shopping, and our family isn't big on adult gifting. We buy big things for the kids, but we tend to get each other things like Christmas hampers, jumpers. I bought my mom a teapot once. Things like that. Certainly nothing in the price range that Amy put on her list. Even before going to the comments, I think it's pretty clear that this person is not the a-hole, and that is indeed the consensus. Of course, a bunch of the comments are referring to things that were addressed by OP in the edits, including things like what kind of gifts do they give the rest of the family? Does she gift Dollar Tree gifts and ask for Louis Vuitton in exchange, etc.? But clearly, I think we can all agree that they are not the a-hole. This story is called AITA for asking my pregnant sister-in-law to leave the family Christmas gathering. Okay, so based on the title, I totally sound like an asshole, but hear me out. This year is our turn to host the family Christmas party at our home. We invited not only my significant other's side, but also my side as well. Overall, it was around 20-ish people in our home today for gift giving and typical American Christmas celebrating. Drinks were shared, food broken, the whole shebang. Among my significant other's side of the family was his pregnant sister. She, I think, was due maybe a week or so ago, but it really has just been a ticking time bomb for her little one to arrive. Everyone's excited to meet the baby. Now, our problem is that sister in law came to the party with contractions and was obviously in labor. I know this because I'm a mom myself. Once you know, you know. Every 20 minutes or so, she would start having pains and would make noise to pass the contractions. At first, it wasn't so bad. I understand how sucky it is and that you don't want to go to the hospital too soon because they'll just send you right home. But then it became almost obnoxious. I feel terrible for saying that, but it really was. A lot of my family members and some of hers were glancing around like, WTF, go home and do that in private. After a while, it became apparent that it was making everybody uncomfortable. And even my mother in law recommended that she rest at home before it gets too late. She refused and said she was fine. In the middle of the kids opening their presents, she went into pain again, and this time she even screamed for a second. I then discreetly pulled her husband to the side and told him to leave. I did it politely. Hey, I appreciate you guys for being here, but I think it's time to go. I don't want you guys to give birth on our kitchen. LOL. After I said that, her husband got angry and quickly got her and the kids packed up. She was visibly upset, and before heading out, called me a bitch and said that I ruined Christmas for her. A few of their side family members gave me dirty looks and left soon after as well. I'm torn on this. I wanted everybody to have a good day, but it was very distracting and obnoxious to have her around. TLDR, I asked sister-in-law to leave family Christmas party because she was in labor. Now, Reddit's general consensus on this one was NTA, not the a-hole, and I think that it's pretty clear that that's the obvious answer here. Some additional commenters were saying things like, when they had given birth, they were told 5 to 7 minutes apart, which it sounds like this person's sister-in-law was about maybe 5 minutes apart from the story and from their comments later down in the thread. And that's around the time you should be checking in, getting assessed, getting checked out by a doctor, a nurse, a doula, a midwife, and definitely should not be a time when you are at a Christmas celebration. Not to mention the fact that it does say a little bit further down that OP confirmed that the baby was born later that same day. So clearly, she needed to be in the hospital and not taking all of the joy out of Christmas. I don't know about you, but if I was one of those kids, I would have probably been a little bit mortified and maybe even a little bit scared if somebody was literally screaming while I'm opening Christmas presents. So I think it's pretty fair to say, not the a-hole on this one. This third and final story is called AITA for quote-unquote ruining Christmas. My wife and I, 36F, 36M, have 2 children, Nora, 10F, and Hayden, 8M. In the weeks leading up to Christmas, Hayden started to get in trouble a lot and had really bad behavior in general, which is surprising considering this has never happened before. We would often get notified by his school that Hayden had been getting himself in trouble. He has also been falling behind in his schoolwork and has often been getting low grades at school. His behavior isn't as bad at home, but he can still sometimes be disrespectful to all of us, and he's been verbally aggressive a few times. My wife doesn't punish him and is going easy on him because he says he's struggling to cope with the fact that his best friend is now gone. Hayden's best friend moved away over Thanksgiving, and it's been pretty hard on him. They have been best friends since Hayden was only 3. Both my wife and Nora have been gentle with him and have done things with him to keep his mind off the fact that his best friend is gone. It works for a while, but then it seems whenever Hayden goes back to school, the bad behavior comes back up again, and Hayden gets in trouble. Personally, I think Hayden deserves discipline for the amount of times that he's gotten himself in trouble. Right before school got out for Christmas break, Hayden had been physically and verbally aggressive at school with both his classmates and his teacher. As a result, he was excluded from the class Christmas party and had to spend that afternoon in the principal's office. I was livid because Hayden's behavior was not getting any better, and my wife was not doing anything about it. I decided that Hayden had to be disciplined because that was the only way his behavior would improve. After my wife went to bed on Christmas Eve night, I decided to take all of Hayden's presents and hold them until next year. I also took everything out of what we had put in his stocking and replaced it with some coal. On Christmas morning, Hayden started crying after he saw that he didn't get any presents and got coal in his stocking. I told him that because he had been bad these past few weeks, that he was put on the naughty list, and that he should learn to behave if he wants any presents next year. My wife didn't know about this and took me aside and said that she was infuriated that I would do such a thing, and that I should have known how hard it had been for Hayden that his best friend was gone. I told my wife that discipline is the only way to fix his behavior, and that he will get those presents next year, so it's not like he'll never get his Christmas presents. Hayden was grumpy the whole day, and it seemed to make everyone else grumpy. My wife told me it's all my fault for ruining everyone's Christmas, but personally I believe it was Hayden's behavior that ruined Christmas, because this wouldn't have happened if he wasn't being such a brat for these past few weeks. I think we can all pretty much agree with the fact that this person is definitely the a-hole. Essentially, every single comment also agreed with that, and they were designated the a-hole on the Reddit page. There are a lot of thoughts that I have when reading this story. Thoughts about how a precious memory of Christmas is ruined for basically this man's entire family. The fact that I get the sense just from reading this that his wife is probably the one that did the Christmas shopping and wanted to make it a special time for them. This just seems like potentially their dynamic, and I bet you anything she was looking forward to seeing the joy on her children's face when they got to open the presents that were thoughtfully and lovingly purchased. And this father just took that away from not just his son, but also from his wife and from his daughter, because I guarantee you his little boy was so angry and frustrated and just overall done that he probably made the day absolutely terrible for everybody. There is nothing more magical when you are a kid than waking up and going downstairs and seeing what Santa got for you. And as an adult, watching your kid go through that joy is the absolute best thing in the world. And he just absolutely ruined Christmas for his entire family. I think this comment pretty much just sums up what everybody is feeling. They say, "So you unilaterally took his presents away and implemented a new punishment scheme without discussing it with your wife. You said that your wife, quote unquote, did nothing about it. What did you do about it? Your 8-year-old was attempting and failing to deal with emotions he had never experienced before. What did Dad do to help him navigate those emotions and find healthy ways to express them before going nuclear and punishing him for having emotions? YTA, you're the a-hole." And I have to say I 100% agree with this comment. He was definitely the a-hole. Thank you so much for listening to today's stories. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to sit for a moment, relax, and listen to some crazy stories from the internet. Until next time, this has been Kate's Cozy Corner. Feel free to drop a like, leave a comment, or subscribe if you enjoyed it.